We're live, ladies and gentlemen.
Live and in the building with the children.
I'm gonna edit all this out later. We'll just let people try to populate in here a little bit.
Well, while we're doing that,
We've
what do
got
you
a
think?
viewer.
What do you think about? Let's talk about 261 a little bit.
Okay, we can do that at the start of the show. Hang on. We'll
Well,
hit it.
this ain't the start of the show.
Well, I'm
Okay.
about to start the show.
Okay, start the show. We'll talk about it at the end then. How about that? Oh God.
Yeah, hear the battle cry. Another day.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Impact Attack here at hackerhameen.patreon.com now. Actually, we're at patreon.com/Hameen Media Group. And this is the Impact Attack, but actually, it's the Kenny Omega Show here, ladies and gentlemen, because Kenny Omega is now our undisputed TNA Impact World Wrestling Champion, and my son enjoys and loves every second of it. And I am Colin Wysong, and I am here each and every week with our best bout machine here at Hameen Media Group. It's the Vet. Ladies and gentlemen, say what's up, Vet.
7 stars. Just like Kenny Omega, I'm for the children, Colin. I'm for the
It's
children.
true.
So, happy to be here at an irregular hour going live, but that is why I'm the best bout machine any time of the day, any time of the week, any event. When I'm called upon, I'm here to deliver, and that's what I'm going to do. And we're going to get a 7-star show here today. We're going to get
7-star show?
7 stars, a little low for me. I'm thinking maybe 8.5 or 8 3/4 at least. And I don't need to be in Japan for that. I can be actually in the States and still get almost 9 stars.
Well, Dave Meltzer's not going to know what to do with when we cover UFC 261. We cover Rebellion, and we cover this week's Impact Wrestling. So I guess we'll just go ahead and get right to it. UFC 261. Vet, you wanted to talk about this here briefly at the top of the show. What about this event did you enjoy the most?
Everybody get knocked out. I'm a fan of finishes. I don't have to have a finish in my matches, but I like when people are trying. And one way or another, everybody got finished on this show,
Yeah.
and that was really nice. And when I went to go watch the replay on ESPN Plus, and they have like the time on there, and I saw like 2:33 something, I was like, "Whoa! Did something get canceled?" Yeah, well,
Yes, people got canceled physically.
Yeah, Chris Weidman's leg got canceled, bro. But yeah, so it was great. I told you that Usman's punch. Like, I've been watching stuff since I was a little kid, and that's certainly in the top 5 all-time knockouts I've ever seen in my life. And that includes like movies where all they can do is set up a perfect knockout blow. You know what I mean? And make it look as nice and with special effects and everything. That's got to be one of the best ever. So that was nice seeing that, and I kind of was like, I was rooting for him a little more when the crowd started booing him, you know? I was like, shut these people up. You know what I mean? That kind of thing. Same thing with Wei Li. I kind of felt bad for her when they, when they booed her. So I was kind of hoping that would go differently, but I really like Rose too. So it's still nice, but I would have liked to get to see them mix it up, because that seemed like a fluke thing that probably wouldn't happen again. But yeah, that's most of my thoughts. I mean, what do you have to add?
Oh no, the the leg kick with Jimmy Crute, that was just crazy. I mean, he kicked him right in the perfect spot to deaden that nerve. Good win by Anthony Smith, who friend of mine, not necessarily friend of the show, but he's a friend of mine. Went to my high school, been to many of his fights. He actually fought in the UFC, and he trains out of Gastonia. And Chris Weidman and them have recently moved down to South Carolina, and he trains with Impa Kasanage. He trained with Chris Weidman. He trained with Anthony Smith leading up to these fights. So I got to see pictures in them training and stuff over in Charlotte and Gastonia and those areas where I grew up. So it was cool to see Anthony Smith win. Unfortunately, with Chris Weidman, it was like the universe kind of converging there. With he did the same thing to Anderson Silva, and then here it is. Years later, it happens to him, just like with Uriah Hall and all that stuff.
Yeah, I didn't see the.
Yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
I agree. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. So I didn't see the Anderson thing, happen. But I mean, this was enough. I almost didn't want to see this. Like,
oh man, it was worse than Anderson, because it's like Anderson did the same thing. Like, he snapped his leg, and then when he went to go step back, he put his like pressure on it, and that's when he fell. But it's like you could really see Chris's like ankle and leg like wrap around itself because the bone was not connected in any sort of way, and that was way worse. I mean, and the fact that
it wrapped around Uriah.
Yeah.
This is what it did, and he just and like I said to you, it was just so funny when they showed, like, it was not funny, but like when they showed the replay, and I was like, I don't know if I want to watch this replay, but they did. They showed the slow motion replay, and you see Uriah Hall, and he just stands there. He doesn't move, like, and you see Chris throwing this, like, looks like a perfect leg kick, and it's a slow motion, the sweat's flying off, and then you see it just hit his ankle and just, crumple around it, and I was just like, oh my God. I just laughed because what else can you do? Like, it's not funny, but I don't know what else to do because the situation, the visuals of it are so ridiculous that you'd think it was not real. You'd think it was like a movie or a cartoon or something. Like, no, that didn't happen. This is some kind of a special effect, because there's no way that this guy would just stand there and no-sell a man's leg falling apart around him. But the way it all played out, it just looks so ridiculous. But it was real. It was real.
It was real, and that was, yeah. I think he did worse to himself by turning over and laying on his stomach, so that they'd have to like roll him over and like even risk more of it moving to get him like on the stretcher. I don't know.
At that point, I don't think it matters anymore.
Yeah, that was pretty brutal. But then we had Rose and Weili. That was a really good knockout. I don't think Rose is getting enough credit for the technique in which she got Weili to like faint, so that she could perfectly hit that head kick and completely just put Weili out the way that she did, and just get that finish. And then who don't Valentina. She just beat the crap out of Jessica Andrade. Came out and wrestled and was like, "Oh, y'all don't think I could wrestle? Y'all don't think I have a ground game? Let me show you my ground game," and just beat the crap out of Jessica Andrade. And then of course we saw what we saw. Have you seen the pictures floating around the internet with the mist and the sweat coming off of Jorge Masvidal's from the punch that he took? Some photographer got like perfect, like the you see just this mass of water particles coming off of his head as it gets snapped, and he just goes unconscious. And I agree with you there in your sentiments of this being a great knockout. I mean, the way he fell, and he kind of fell back into Usman, and he was out, and his like neck and his head hit each other, and then he kind of fell over. It's almost as good as that time that Mark Munoz, I think he knocked out Matt Hamill, or Matt Hamill knocked out Mark Munoz, and he got knocked out, and he fell so hard that he rammed his own head into his knee while he was knocked out. It's just great knockouts all around.
Well, even that, like, that was a nice cherry on top. But even if we're just talking about the punch itself,
just a clean, straight
that
right there.
One
I mean, he was fighting with his hands down. He was getting cocky because he was pegging him in the first, and then he just got cocky, and he was fighting with his hands down there, and Usman had tagged him a couple times, and my friend Ricky, the same guy that we were just talking about, he actually has a fight where the first round he beat the guy up. I mean, the ref could have easily stopped it, and the guy made it through to the second round, and then Ricky was like, I was fighting him, punching him, beating him up. He's like, I wasn't feeling his punches. They weren't hurting me whatsoever. So he's like, I started showboating on the guy, and he like did the Anderson Silva thing where he was like backing up but dodging the punches, and you watch the dude loads up on the last one. And Ricky's letting him kind of touch him and hit him, but he loads up on that last one, completely turns the lights out, and like hits Ricky with like 2 good 3 or 4 hammer fists. And you like, they wake him up, and Ricky, the first thing he says is like, I lost. Like a what? I lost? Like, because he was winning the fight, and dude just same thing that Usman did to Masvidal, just loaded up on that one perfect shot right across the bow and finished Street Jesus.
He wanted it.
Yeah.
I mean, he said he wanted that punch. And when you watch the first round, he's throwing that haymaker and missing. And if Masvidal were a better fighter, he could have probably capitalized on that, those wide swings, because there would have been no way for Usman to protect himself after that. But I mean, that's kind of what gets Masvidal over a little bit. You know, he's a better character than he is a fighter, really.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if he was a great fighter, he wouldn't have taken this long to get to the spot that he's in, and he got to the spot that he's in with his character. You know what I mean? Not that he's not a good fighter. I'm not saying that. We're talking about Usman being one of the best ever. You know, so it's not like a slight on Masvidal to say he's not a better fighter than Usman, right? That's no disrespect to Jorge at all. But Usman just wanted to land that punch, and he kept going for it, and he got on the fourth, like maybe the third or fourth try, you know, and which is amazing, because usually when you're telegraphing stuff that much, and you either give up on it or you get caught trying it and lose. So, but all that being said, regardless, I didn't see any of the nice high-speed film photos of that sweat, but I saw plenty of photos of Photoshop of him in sleeping bags and
that definitely
blanket and pillow memes.
Rounds. Let me see if I can find it. You carry the show here for a second while I do a little Google searching here, sir.
All right. Well, so anyways, we're gonna talk about. We got a big show today as far as Impact is concerned. We're going to cover a little bit of Rebellion, because if I have to watch it, you have to hear about it. And there's lots of talk about Kenny Omega in the main event and being the undisputed Impact champion. I mean, that changed the whole intro for our show. So it's obviously a big deal, and it's making waves. But there's a lot to talk about on Rebellion. And so we're just going to get into that. And then we'll move into Impact, which would be the follow-up to a monumental event that I don't really feel like they did anything with that was like must-see television. It's like, I'm sure a lot of people felt like they wanted to tune into Impact to see what happened, and it'd be hard to imagine people not being disappointed with, there it is. There it is, the cloud of mist. It looks like he's being attacked by white bees. Oh shit. So what does that say?
Fuji-san's throwing the salt in the face there.
Oh yeah. Yep. And then Yokozuna gave him the bonsai drop. We got a and still. All right. So let's get into Rebellion. Cuz I got work. The first thing I want to notice is I'm watching Rebellion, and this guy comes on and starts doing this intro package, and I'm like, Is that? No, why would it be? But it is.
That's a friend of yours.
It's Jamin Olivencia. And I had to look it up just to make sure. And of course there's not a what's up to K-Bob in the chat? A live Impact attack just for you. And he's got a question for you, Colin, about a pizza. Jamin Olivencia, one of the few people I've had the privilege of having a televised singles match with. I didn't get a lot of televised singles matches, but one of them was against Jamin Olivencia. So,
the guy on Impact to start the show.
The guy on Impact to start the show, yes. So that was cool, but it did seem a little weird. No disrespect to Jamin, I didn't know why they would. Usually you would get like kind of like I think somebody that more people would know for this spot. Not, but again, that's not that. That's just what I think other people are thinking. I think other people are thinking, "Who is this guy?" And I'm like, I wasn't even sure if it was him because he looked so different than when I seen him. But anyway, yeah. So shout outs to Jamin, fellow brother. And then we get so we're going to start with a triple threat match. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the second pay-per-view in a row to open with a triple threat match, right?
Well, it's not like we can sit here and complain about it. WrestleMania had like 3 WrestleManias in a row where they ended in a triple threat match.
Yeah, you're right. I'm not complaining, but I'm just making sure. Because we have a habit of doing things the same way, like in routines and Impact so far. So from what I've been noticing.
Wait. This most recent WrestleMania it ended in a triple threat where bodies were stacked on top of each other. So don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, we didn't get bodies stacked on top of each other at the end of this triple threat.
No, I didn't really watch this triple threat, to be honest. I mean,
I enjoyed this one. This one was fun. I mean, I feel like this was kind of a coming out party for Josh Alexander. Like he's the North. It's been him and Ego, and now that Ethan Page isn't there anymore, it's like it's time to establish Josh Alexander as this solo force. And everybody used to always, I mean, Ben and listening to the old Impact Attacks, they used to always say that Alexander was probably the workhorse of this group. So it's good. It's nice to see him get this championship win here in this open and triple threat.
Yeah. So, I took a few glances. I don't know exactly what I was doing at the time. I was probably just getting myself situated with some snacks or something to sit down. And then the next thing I know, I look up and Alexander's the new champion. But from what I did glance and see was that there was some uncomfortable looking bumps in it. I did see that. But yeah, so media in the chat says that Jamin sounds like the guy that died who did the previous Impact voice, which I guess that's a good reason. But do they audition guys and be like, can you sound like this guy? I mean, or did they just call in? They called him in. Specifically, they had some connection to him, so that's why he was really, that's why he really did it. Anyways, so then we get the Violent by Design vignette. We see Eric Young talking to somebody off screen, and then we get the package setting up the match. Turns out, that the replacement for Eric Young, who, as we talked about, destroyed his ACL or some such thing, is W. Morrissey.
I don't have a Morrissey drop to play here. I don't have any
that's fine.
Any of the Smiths or anything like
that's
that.
That's fine. We don't need to get kicked off this platform also. So yeah. So this follows the equal or greater value rule, where you gotta you know what that rule is. So he looks good.
He looks really good. Yeah,
he looks really good. He's definitely been drinking his Florida water, which is fine. And he looks confident and composed here. So this was just your typical. This was kind of like how do I put this? It's a story match, really. I mean, you're doing a thing with Violent by Design against Team. What was this? This wasn't Team Homeless, was it? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it was Team Homeless. Yeah.
Yeah. So just like a little small thing, right? Cody Deaner was in the ring at all the wrong times during this match, right? Like he should have started the match, not Doring. Doring shouldn't have started the match. It should have been Deaner. And then, so for example, like, after Cass came in, all the other guys run the train on Storm, and then Deaner should pick up the scraps as payback for earlier.
Hey, look, you're over here talking about getting us kicked off of YouTube over here, talking about people running the train on people.
Okay, the Unicorn Stampede, let's say. Do we know what that reference is? But basically the idea would be that Diener would start the match, the baby faces would get over on him, start tagging each other in, beating him up, you know, and then when he finally when they get the cutoff and get the tag, then the heel team beats up whoever's in there to take the heat, if that was James Storm or whoever, and then Cody Diener comes in after all the guys have beaten up the babyface, and then he kicks the shit out of him too. So in this match where Diener is the smallest guy by far, he should be the one, like the hyena, the vulture, picking the scraps. You know, that should be the little story. The match is not important enough to tell that story, and they're not trying to get Diener over in this match, but that's a more simple visual story to tell as you're having this match, and it's an easier match to have because then you don't have to lay out a bunch of spots. You don't call individual spots when you're doing like the tag in and beat up somebody and get heat thing. You just say, all right, your turn, and then you do a couple moves, tag out, you know, that kind of stuff. So it's easier. And you know, Willie gets a nice comeback, but the tag is cold, so it's not really, you know, that great. And I don't even remember.
No hot tags here.
I'm pretty sure that VBD goes over here, right?
Yes.
So move on. Any other thoughts on that? All right.
No, I just think the cast looked amazing. That Florida water looks great.
He did, and they showcased him to an interesting degree. But we'll see about that later. We'll see what they do with him later, right? Majors Brothers package, and we get Myers versus Cardona. This was kind of built, there's like one of the times when Matt Striker's doing his thing. Where he gets comfortable is he calls, I believe he calls Brian Myers a ring general, right? And that's like an insider term. To a fan, it doesn't mean anything, because if you're saying or what a ring general is we know. Well, I mean, we should Slaughter. Know. Yeah, exactly. Well, even though he's a sergeant.
Yeah, he's still a general in my heart. Okay. He's a ring general. He's a sergeant in the U.S. military. Come on, vet. God, you should know these things. You're the vet. You're the vet. God.
I mean, I know, but I respect the ranking system. So, plus he has that little shiny gold band on his hat, and I don't know if that's regulation.
Yeah, exactly. Media like Christopher Daniels.
So here's the deal. You don't call somebody a ring general, because what does that mean in a shoot fight? Like, what would you say if you called Kamaru Usman a ring general? What does that even mean? Does that mean he's leading Masvidal through the fight to get that knockout punch?
He controls the octagon.
Yeah, that's obviously that's obviously not a good phrase to use, right? So these are insider terms that shouldn't be used outside, I don't think. Now, Walter calls himself a ring general, right? But he has a militaristic looking group, so you can take the general as like one of two ways, but not in the way that Matt Striker is using it here to describe Brian Myers, because it doesn't mean anything. So
would you buy insurance from a general?
Maybe if Shaquille O'Neal told me to.
Okay, there's a general insurance company, and all their commercials are a general that tells you to buy insurance online to save your time.
Yes, with Shaquille O'Neal. Okay. So anyways, so also Matt Striker called Myers Hawkins once. I don't know if you caught that.
No. I enjoyed this match though. I like watching these two guys together because you could tell they're just in there having fun with each other for the most part. When, you know, it'd be like you and Sergio in the ring together more, I guess.
Yeah. Oddly enough, we only have one match. That's right. Save some time. Call the general, save some time. So speaking of, while we're on commentary, let's say we get one of the holy trinity of shitty Vince McMahon produced WWE cliche announcing from D'Lo Brown, and he gives us he's got to be thinking, what do I have to do to beat this guy? That's one of the holy trinity. The other two are, of course, he kicked out perhaps on instinct alone and numbers game. Any variation of saying the phrase numbers game. Those are your three.
What about what a maneuver?
He doesn't tell people to say that. That's what he used to say.
Yeah, that's true.
This is what he coaches people to say now.
I feel like he told somebody the other night to say ruthless aggression. Oh yeah, it was Monday when I was watching Raw. It came out of someone's mouth on commentary, ruthless aggression. I'm like, oh, that's Vince.
Yeah, well, yeah. So, or maybe sometimes I wonder if it's Vince or if it's them trying to get in Vince's good graces. You know, it's hard to tell sometimes.
But it was Corey Graves, so you never know.
Right. Corey probably doesn't need to get produced as much because he's up on all that stuff and he likes to take those sarcastic shots. Like he could be doing it in a sarcastic way. But anyways, yeah. So as far as the match part, you can still avoid the chin lock in a match like this, but I'll allow it for a match that was built with TV time rather than like a short throwaway TV match that nobody cares about. We don't need 2 chin locks in that, but you know, at least here
They were tired. They needed 2 rest spots.
I don't know what you're talking about. There's no such thing as rest holds. So, but the real thing about this match that pissed me off is the fake injury with the fake X, which usually that ends the match. Like if you're gonna do that angle, then the match is over. Once the X goes up, that means the match is over, for all intents and purposes. Except here, not here. Now it's just to buy time so you can get your shitty finish in, which you're disrespecting a real injury when Stryker mentions Weidman, just to do a fake clothesline for a fake pin here. Fuck these guys.
He's got to cut him from the roster.
Fuck them.
Wow.
That's disrespectful, bro. That's seriously disrespectful. It's disrespectful to anybody that ever got injured in pro wrestling and they used a real X. It's disrespectful to mention Chris Weidman, who got a real injury. And Chris Weidman didn't just fall down and then the referee says, are you okay? Are you okay? And then he gets up and gets a clothesline from Uriah Hall. That's not what happens. So, you know, this is one of those things where I hate when they try to use reality because it's completely it's not believable and it's disrespectful. And it means like it takes a real thing and makes it marginal. Like, oh, we're just using this for angles, you know? So I do not like that at all. I'm very, very upset with that. So we get a Tony Khan finally. We finally get a Tony Khan promo. We were getting one, and then we get interrupted. Like, he gets interrupted by it. Every time I'm excited about something, they get interrupted. And here comes Scott D'Amore dressed like the Penguin with his little $20 headset. Not into it. We get a package for the Knockouts Tag Team Championships telling the story about Jazz and her retirement, all this stuff. And we get F&F versus Jellering. I'll call him Jellering. I hate the siren for entrance music. Anybody that's ever used like a siren, not over with me.
What about the Jamaican horns?
Kind of over with me. But but I'm talking about the siren. You know, just a siren. Everybody
find
from
some Jamaican horns for the show.
No. That's not what I said. All I said was they're not the siren.
Oh no, too late.
Yeah. Yeah, let's look at media in the chat saying ref was like, what the fuck do I do now? Like, you know what I mean? He knows what to do. It just looks phony and it's the whole thing's shitty. It's shitty. Fuck them. Fuck all those guys. Scott Steiner is great, but I mean, come on. I don't care. You could have gave him any entrance music. It's not like his music is what got him over. And you don't have to play it the whole time. You could just use that would be better than a siren. So here's the part where I get a little, it's going to sound like I'm body shaming, but I'm just being technical and I'm just talking about the aspects of the aesthetic business. Okay. Rachel Ellering needs different gear for her body. You don't like, I get why she looks the way she looks. Her dad was a power lifter. She's a power lifter. So in that aspect, like, I'm not expecting you to be like friggin' Alicia Edwards or something, but you gotta like, if you're gonna have like a fat sloppy stomach, you should probably like try to cover that up in some way. And I don't understand, there's a lot of, not necessarily Rachel, but there's a lot of women that go with like the bra and panties look for their gear, you know, where it's like you've got the top and then you've got the shorts, right? You know, like, yes. Let's say a Tennille Dashwood. And like most, or like, you got Rachel here who's got the long tights. but most of the stuff is like everything is covered up pretty much except for that one like strip of stomach in the middle. And I'm always like, why don't you just make a singlet and connect that like Jordan Grace has? You know, she has just a singlet to cover up that strip. Like the strip does nothing. You're just having a strip of stomach. But like if you're in shape, it doesn't matter. But if you're not in shape and your gut hangs out, why wouldn't you want to pack that in? I just don't understand some of the choices. So
Kimberly has like we saw in this most recent episode. Kimberly keeps the singlet all in and all that stuff. So
we'll get to that. So anyway, this was I'll refrain from being too hard on this. The tag was like a glass of iced tea. It's not freezing cold, but it's like it's refreshing on a hot summer day. So Jordan, but the reason why is because Jordan bumped both of Fire and Flavor, and they're still down selling when Rachel comes in for the comeback. So they're both like on their knees, like, and the Rachel comes in for a comeback and she just looks like a bully. You know, it's like, these girls are hurt, Rachel. We need to throw up the X.
Throw up the X. Yeah, exactly. Where was the X?
Yeah. So some dangerous, pointless, stupid shit ensues after that. Even D'Lo said, "What the hell was that?" on some move they tried to do on the apron. So even he didn't know. Jordan Grace needs to never dive. Right?
That's a true statement.
Not only does she get no air or distance, but no one wants to catch all that anyways. So like you have to think, you don't have to be so selfish when you're having these matches. You know, think about other people for a change. Just please, can we please? No one cares about Jordan Grace because of the dive. If they care about her, it's because of her certain look or the fact that she's got, she's like a power person or whatever they like about her. They don't care about the dive. They could take or leave the dive, I'm sure. So let's leave it and keep everybody safe because like I said, no one wants to catch all that.
That's right. Nobody wants to catch all that.
All right, delete that off the Roadcaster. I changed my mind. That's less acceptable than the siren. So anyway, new champs. Any other thoughts, Colin, on that?
No, I'm not too excited about Jordan Grace here being the champ. I thought the Rachel Ellering thing was pretty cool, but I enjoyed what they did this past Impact though with the little promo off that they had with Fire and Flavor later in the back. I think guys later on in the show you're going to need to bring your bulletproof vests because there were definitely bullets flying during that little promo segment.
Okay, well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's keep it back at Rebellion with the package of Sami whispering into Trey's ear. It's a whole package of just that. It was
Sweet
very
nothings.
Yes. So let's see if those hanging leg raises prepared Trey for Last Man Standing. And so I wrote down in my notes right at the start, let's see how long before someone chops in this Last Man Standing match. And this is gonna be very, very shocking. Okay, what I'm about to say.
Okay.
Not only was this the best match on Rebellion, this was the best worked match on Rebellion. This is the best match I've ever seen Sami Callahan in. And it's one of the better Last Man Standing matches I've seen in recent memory for any company. And as in the interest of me always being fair, like I say, I'm not a fan of these guys really. Sami because I'm not a fan of his, and Trey because I just really haven't seen him that much, especially in singles. Everything I've seen him in was the Rascal stuff. So, it's kind of harder to stand out in that kind of a situation. So I haven't really got to pay attention to see how he works here. But I actually was surprised that I was like, man, I wanted to not like this. I wanted to write a bunch of notes and tear it apart. I really wanted to.
No, those guys threw themselves around. But there, with the botch with the table, I mean, there were a couple of questionable spots where you gotta wonder about Sami's safeness in working.
Well, yeah, but I'm taking all that into account. Like, first of all, it's not a botch if the table doesn't break. It's a botch when it's your fault, right? Now, you shouldn't have done it.
The table botched the spot.
Yeah, the table. That's the third man or the fourth man. Someone should have thrown up the X for the table.
He's too stiff. It's been longer than 4 hours. Someone call a doctor.
Yeah. So, but I mean, there was like a couple of things, right? Let me run through this real quick. He did the old wrench in the mouth spot and then let him go, right? Like that's stupid, but whatever. But the thing that somewhat redeemed that wrench spot is he tried to hit him in the head with the wrench later. Mm-hmm. So he didn't do it then, which he should have just eliminated the mouth spot and done and just done it like done the spot he did where he tried to swing at his head and hit the chairs instead. He should have just done that. That would have been enough. But so that's a small thing. There was like a what else was there? There was like I'll just go with the order of my notes. When he did the table leg slam, that there was a small margin of error for that. And they did it absolutely perfectly. Now, I say that as if that's a traditional spot that everyone does, where you just slam somebody on the upturned table, on the legs.
You don't remember all those Attitude Era spots where they were just slamming people on upturned tables?
That's all they did. I got tired of it after a while,
Yeah.
But no.
Chair shot.
Yeah, but the key for that is him being able to let Trey rotate himself so his feet land on the table first. That can go bad. Not terrible. It's not the worst it's going to be is painful. It's not going to, I don't think you're going to get crippled if you get body slammed on the legs of a table, but the way they did it, no one got hurt at all. So it was really safe and good, even though it looked vicious, right? And that's the whole point of professional wrestling. So the detail I have about the match in general is the tables themselves. The finish was good because Sami slipped trying to stand up because he's trying to use the table to pull himself up, and the table is a smooth surface, so he's slipping back down and he can't stand. That was actually a very creative finish. But he also set up that table explicitly to go through it and nothing else, right? There was never any intention because he puts that table up and then he immediately goes over to the stairs and does the stair spot. So when you're just setting up furniture to go through, then that takes away some of the realism. So it'd be different if like Trey tried to set up a table and went for something like maybe wanted to suplex him onto it. Then he gets cut off and then Sami does the stair spot because it's like, why would I slam you through a table when I can use these stairs, right? Then you go into the finish the same way you did. Now that gives a reason why the table was set up there. That sets up your cool creative finish. And that's, if he never tries to use it himself, it looks bad that he just set up a table only to go through it. So that's a detail.
They do that all the time, though. I mean, a lot of these tables, ladders, and chairs, they set it up on the outside, they fight around it, and then at the end of the match, somebody finally goes through it or whatever.
I know, but that's not good. And I just explained a way you could do it where it would be better. I'm not a fan of setting up the tables anyways. It's like you're trying to hurt somebody. What do you need a table for? You got concrete all around. You got steel barricades. You got steel stairs. You got steel posts. The table is the least. A table is the least of your worries. A table will break your fall on any of those other things.
Let me ask you this then. So think about like the Ted DiBiase era, where he would go over to the corner, or they would go over to the corner and take the turnbuckle pad off the turnbuckle. They were setting it up to go throw the babyface in it, but always, every time, usually the heel would be the one, I'm going to come over here and take this off, and then they go to throw the babyface into it, and then they end up being the ones that get put into it. So it's kind of always been there. They just do it with different mechanisms around the ring. Is that kind of the same thing with the turnbuckles and taking the turnbuckle pad off? Wouldn't that be similar to that?
No.
No?
Because you plan to use it as a weapon. And there was no, but the turnbuckle pad was already there. You didn't go set up another ring, build a turnbuckle pad, and then take the pad off.
I'm making it a war games. We're about to build another. Give me 1 second, ref.
Yeah, don't count me out. I got something to count. I got something to do. Another guy just lies there. The ref has to throw up the X.
That sounds like a Roman match. Roman would probably stay asleep outside long enough to let you build another wrestling ring to throw him into the turnbuckle.
Especially now. But you see the difference being like you use what's available to you. Or if you use an announcer's table, like they overused the announcer's table in the Attitude Era too, but
Yeah, way too much.
but the table was always there. So
it's
it's
always the Mexican announce table that went first, though.
yeah, until that got old, and then they mixed up the languages. But the point is, those tables were already sitting there, and people were supposed to go through them incidentally.
Yeah.
Like you're fighting on the outside, and you end up through a table. You don't start setting up tables, or you don't take a ladder match that's got like 20 ladders, and then start building, erector sets full of ladders just so that you can do one move through it and then still not win. That's what there's too much of. The reason I like this last man standing match, besides all the other stuff, is there was a very minimum of that, and they still did it. Like, that's what I'm saying. They still did it. They still did the pile driver through the table spot. What do you need the table for? Like, when he does the top rope pile driver, what do you need the table for? Why don't you just pile drive him into the mat off the top rope? That'd be pretty devastating, right?
That would be way more devastating.
Right. The table's going to save you on that, right? And it ended up working against them because they just bounced off it. But that's, you know what I'm saying? Like, you could have left that spot out entirely and it wouldn't have hurt your match. So it's like, I think guys like Sami, are like, he's a creative guy and he wants to think of different things to do in terms of the matches, in terms of the character. He's trying different things. He's always doing something different and trying to be creative and think, right? And I like that. But you also have to keep it, like, use that creativity and keep it in the realm of, this is the most I've seen him do with that kind of thing, which is why I liked it. Also, the length was a good length, because a match like this, if it's brutal, the more brutal it is, it shouldn't last a long time. It should only last a short amount of time, because you shouldn't be able to withstand the same punishment that two guys that are just having a regular wrestling match should have. If you're going through tables and steel stairs and barricades and all this other stuff, you shouldn't last longer than 10, 12. This was about 15, I want to say, with entrances. So good length, good work, and not one chop.
Not one chop, but those weapons will definitely wear down the stamina bar.
Well, that's what you got to do. And then after that, you got to clamp in a chin lock.
Just to rest for a little bit.
Further work it. We get finally we get a Rich Swan promo in all this. We've been building up talking about this super match, and we finally get a Rich Swan promo uninterrupted, and it was good. He even worked in the name of the event in the least corny way possible. Saying he's going to rebel. So I like this. This is what I want. I want to see this more stuff from Rich Swan because he's good at it. Then we get a tag title package, catching us up on that. The Good Brothers versus Finjuice. Not excited about this match. More chin locks with no legitimate attempts to win the match. Right? That's where this is the opposite of what I'm just talking about now. Like,
I looked forward to this match and was highly disappointed.
You shouldn't have looked forward to it.
Well, I was looking forward to seeing Juice and Finley.
That's weird. Anyways, it's weird that you look forward to them, but don't worry, we'll cover some stuff.
I like them in New Japan. They're fun. I like Juice. There was a while there where I was watching New Japan a lot, and I enjoyed Juice.
I'm just gonna sidestep that, and I'm gonna go back to the chinlock point.
Okay.
The idea of the chinlock, as you said, is one of the 3 strikes reasons why you use a chinlock in a match. You pointed out that you want to wear the person down to set up for another hold. That was one of your guesses as to what a chinlock is for. So the idea being, you tried to win the match. You didn't do it. So you have to, you need to, hurt him a little bit more and wear him down, right? That's the grind him down, grind him down, grind him down. If you're not trying to win the match, you don't need the chinlock. They're just tagging in doing chinlocks here. Like, this is just shitty wrestling. Unless they were doing like a rib gimmick like Cactus Jack in ECW, where he didn't want to give anybody violent wrestling and he just wanted to do chinlocks like on purpose as a fuck you to the Philadelphia crowd. That's a gimmick. That's one reason to do a chinlock without trying to win. If you're not even trying to beat guys doing a chin lock isn't going to do it. So you at least have to tell that part of the story. The tag here was about as warm as it's like, you know, when you sit in a seat after someone just got up.
Oh yeah. It was that kind of a hot tag.
About that temperature, yeah. Like it's
so
a little.
I warmed the seat up for you. Hot tag.
Yeah, just enough to be like a slightly uncomfortable. Like I wish I had.
Oh,
waited.
so it's more like you go and sit on a public urinal, like a public like toilet, and you know that someone had just sat down. That would be like that, like oh man, it's kind of warm. Like ugh.
Not so much. It is more like a friend or family member that was just in a chair, and you're like you just weren't ready to be warm yet. You just wanted to have a seat. You didn't want to be warm, kind of thing. Yeah. So, but this is a better. It's that temperature of warm. Like so that's good. That's on the positive side. It's definitely warmer than a glass of iced tea, right? So that was warm.
I could go for a glass of iced tea right now while you talk about the Good Brothers and Finn juice.
Well, there's not much left to say, so don't get up yet. So the purist in me doesn't like to see the big guy get pinned, you know, in a match like this. But personally, I like to see Gallows' job, so I'm fine with it. So that was that. So you were disappointed with this match. Any other thoughts?
No, not really. I mean, I honestly thought that the Good Brothers were going to go over here. So I was also surprised by the finish, which is maybe why we got such a lackluster performance, because they were like, oh, we're just going to go out here and job.
All right. Which is another thing you got to work on. You got to not have the boo-boo face of, you know, oh shit, well, we don't get, I don't think they're marks like that though. I don't think the Good Brothers are marks like that. I don't think they would really do that. I think that's just how they have matches. Like they're just old and lazy and don't care anymore. And that's fine. You can still be old and lazy and not care, but there's still ways to work a better match while still being just as lazy. You just have to know it, right? So Don Callis interview, too long as usual. Knockouts title package. Deanna versus Tennille. Look, I'm just gonna, in the interest of briefness and fairness, I'm just gonna be nice and say this was okay. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I don't want to be disparaging to these ladies, although I could. Then we get the biggest match ever for our main event. This is obviously the biggest match that's ever happened.
Match ever. Hang on, wait.
Oh,
get to
man, why did I have to, should have had this ready. Like
I
knew it was coming.
You go.
All right, cut it. That's enough. We get the point. We know who it is. You're not cutting it. Okay. Don't fade it out. Cut it. Callis somehow included in his list of legends. Don Callis somehow included Greg Gagne. I think that was just, he was just fired up in the moment and
he just started naming all.
Yeah, rattling off the list. And let me tell you, if there's one that doesn't belong in there, it's Greg Gagne. So, yeah, that was funny to me. So Rich Swan, we've talked about Rich Swan. I've talked about his hair. I've talked about, you know, his good promo here in this very episode a minute ago. Rich is so damn small, Colin. He's so small. He's smaller than Aubrey, you know?
Yeah, that's a shame.
And, but here's where I turn it around, right? If you're listening, Rich, this is where I turn it around. He has the poise and the composure of a champion and a main eventer here. I don't know if you really notice that kind of stuff when you're just casually watching, but like there's a difference between guys who are in a main event and guys who are the main event. There's a different, like there's just a different body language and a different composure.
It's kind of how Dean Ambrose carried himself with the WWE title compared to how The Rock carried himself with the WWE title.
Something like that, yes. Yeah. But I mean, The Rock is The Rock. You know what I mean? He's just gonna do what he's gonna do. But there's a difference, even within the same guy. Sometimes, if you watch Goofy Tag Match Okada and then you watch Main Event Championship Defense Okada, there's two different presentations of the same guy. So he knows when to turn it on and off and whatever situation that he's in. And Rich Swann, you've seen him, like he almost couldn't help himself when he came out. He started to do the little dance, like the leg dance, but it was almost like half-hearted. Like in the middle of it, he realized, no, I can't be dancing right now. This is big, you know.
Yeah, this is serious. I got to be serious about this. Kind of what we were talking about with Kyle O'Reilly that one time where he came out to beat it. He's like kind of dancing and jerking around. I'm like, No, you should come out to come kick this dude's ass.
Right. Not just because it's the main event, but because you're mad at him and you want to kill him, right? You would have a different attitude. And Rich would still, because he doesn't have anything personal against Kenny Omega, so he can still dance a little bit, but he didn't do his full routine. And that just shows you that he's aware of the situation. Whether someone told him that or not, he still carried it and pulled it off. So even though he's so small, he's not in the wrong spot. You know what I mean? So this was like, a lot has been said about this match. Most of what people talking about this match, I'm sure a lot of people have already heard. I don't need to go into the details of it. It was not overall. There was like little things, like some things were horrible. Like they kind of did a big funky finish thing, but not at the finish. It was like in the middle of the third quarter of the match kind of thing. And then they went back to having a regular match for the rest of the match. Like Aubrey waiting to take the chair away was just fucking terrible. Like not necessarily her fault, but I think it was more so Kenny that took his time way too long to make her stand there and look stupid because she's just waiting for the spot. And it's like, why at that point, just go in front of him and take it. Don't stand there behind him waiting for him to raise it up. Because what if he didn't? What if he did not raise the chair up over his head? What if he jabbed him with it or something? Then what were you going to do? You're just going to stand there like an idiot? That's the whole thing. Like these are those little things that make the details that make good matches into better matches,
And I had to do that one time. I had someone try to break into my house while I was there, and this arm is just flailing inside the door, trying to unlock the door. And I look for a knife. I look for something to try to like cut this guy just in case he goes to the cops. I can be like, yeah, I cut this person on the arm kind of thing. But the only thing I find is one of those white foldable steel chairs. So I raised it over my head, of course, because that's how you hit an arm that's raising in there. No, actually, I just turned it sideways and I jammed the end of the chair into this dude's arm. So, you don't have to, like you said, you don't have to just have it up here to hit somebody.
Yeah, you don't have to exaggerately cartoon. Homeboy
Hang on,
asking.
I have to answer where Big Ray is at. Big Ray is probably working the glory hole at Coney Island right now as we speak. And
There's only
Miguel
one?
enjoys it.
There's only one?
No, he works
in all of
glory
Coney.
holes.
Okay, all right.
He works multiple glory holes all around the inner and greater areas of New York City.
Well, then say that. But he cannot. But he can't.
Specifically, he is working the one at Coney Island tonight.
And I'm saying there's only one glory hole at Coney Island. The whole thing.
They know which glory hole he's at.
Oh, okay. Well, they probably have different people posted up at the different ones, right? Well, anyway, yeah, he can only work Wednesdays, so he can't be on Impact anymore. Sorry to disappoint anyone.
But you've got the vet who has been in the wrestling game for 1.39 million years.
That's right. And I barely talk about the size of my dick.
Unlike Gray.
So after that spot, then Kenny looked stupid waiting on a bus when he's going to take that springboard cutter thing. He just stands there. You know what I mean? It's like
that's what they do in AEW. He was just bringing the AEW over to Impact Wrestling, where they stand and wait for spots.
Yeah. So these things happen when you have these overbooked spots and finishes. It's inevitable. It's going to look bad. But with a lot of eyes on this, presumably you wouldn't want to do that, right? You'd try to keep everything neat and tidy so that people will talk about how good it was. Does Rich Swan have to slap his leg on the shin kick?
Yes.
Okay. Just making sure. So anyway, this match, like, in general, I don't want to belabor the point. This was a good match, but to me it wasn't good enough for the implications of it overall. Like it didn't feel kind of epic or big. It just felt like a match that could have been a main event on any TV program.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of the feeling. I mean, there was a lot of buzz about the event coming off of it, but I feel like more people were talking about the other things more so than it's like, oh yeah, okay, because I feel like everybody knew Kenny was going to win. It's just like, if you were surprised, oh, I'm surprised that Kenny won. Oh, I'm surprised they didn't have a smash finish. It was, AEW would not be doing this to be like, oh, we're going to have both of these guys look equal. No, it's set up to have Kenny win and then to have Moose go over later on in the future.
According to you.
No. According to what we saw last night as well. Okay, sir.
Well, what else would you expect him to say? I'm not. I don't believe they're going to do it. I don't
They
even
probably
believe
won't, but
I don't even believe the match is going to get made. It's probably going to be Eddie Edwards or some shit. But anyways,
he's got to get in better shape.
yeah, I don't know. So that's basically Rebellion. I don't have any more on it. My overall thoughts was this seemed more like a big event show than Hardcore Justice for sure, which felt like a longer impact with no commercials. But it still had some of the same problems that all of their broadcasts of any kind seem to have, with the commentary saying weird things, and the guys not really necessarily working their spots or understanding their spots on the card or things like that. And it's surprising that Sami Callahan had the match that not only was worked correctly for its match, worked correctly for its feud, worked correctly for the spot on the card and the stipulation. It was all very good, and I'm very surprised at how much I thought they did a good job on that match. And that's not even me necessarily enjoying the match. Like, wow, I really liked that match. I'm saying they did it right. Whether I enjoyed it or not, they mostly got it right. So that was a surprise coming out of Rebellion. And now we're all excited to tune into Impact to see what the fallout is from a guy from another company taking your company's championship.
That is true, and we'll get right to that. But first, Vet, I don't want to have to edit this in post, so we're going to go ahead and hit them with our word from our sponsors.
The following announcements have been paid for by the sponsors of the Hameen Media Group. Hameen Media Group brand management is taking over social media, video, audio, design, marketing, and more. HMG Brand Management is proud to be partnered with Vince Russo's The Brand, Stevie Ray TV, Rip Rogers FR Podcast, Goldilocks, Big Vito Brand, The A Show starring Aaron Stevens and April Hunter, The Two-Man Power Trip, and now Angelina Love and Velvet Sky, The Beautiful People. Search for all of our HMG Brand Management partners on your favorite podcatchers, YouTube, and of course, Patreon. Support your favorite HMG ring veterans by visiting ProWrestlingTees.com. Dr. Man-Beast Ted McNaylor, Greek God Papadon, SCG Search from Big Sal, Chris Silvio, Stevie Richards, and of course the Ayatollah himself, Ben Hameen. Hey bro, wake up with the official Vince Russo coffee from Roasters Coffee. Medium roasted Nicaraguan blend with chocolatey notes and a smooth finish that'll have you ready to go, bro. Available only at thebroasters.com. For a flavorful #RBV fitness foodie experience, visit ZorosOliveOil.com. Zorro's Ultra Premium Extra Virgin Olive Oil is exclusively sourced from the Zorro's family private 100-year-old olive grove in Greece. Taste the difference and visit ZorosOliveOil.com today. StevieRichardsFitness.com for the most affordable and effective home workout program that'll give you results, real results. 12 and 16-week resistant band programs are available for instant download now at StevieRichardsFitness.com. RussosBrand.com, where the pros are pros, bro. Get the most valid takes in wrestling from the pros who live it. Visit RussosBrand.com. Subscribe to Hecker Hameen and Hameen Media Group on Podbean.com and visit Patreon.com/Hameen Media Group. We now take you to your featured HMG presentation.
Then you shouldn't have said it. Then you shouldn't have said it.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. We are back.
We're back.
And it is time.
We're featured. We're our featured program.
We're here for the main roster portion of the show here at the Impact Attack.
Main roster.
Yeah, nice of you to get that over on Wednesday Locker Room. If you
definitely getting it over on the Wednesday Locker Room.
So let's talk about this.
So you ended our little break here. Well, you started our break with a little bit of a cliffhanger. What could happen with this show that we were going to have here on Thursday? How our title, our Impact Championship is gone. Kenny Omega took it to all elite wrestling. Here we are without a champion. Here we are without Hope Vet. What are we gonna do? And we
I know.
start the show with
I know.
Scott D'Amore in the ring. And
I
what
know.
does he do, Vet? What does
I
he
know
do?
what I know what he's gonna do. He's gonna cut a wrestling promo that sounds written and memorized. That's what he's gonna do.
That's probably true. But we get a tournament
Sort of.
for number one contendership.
No, we don't even get a tournament. We just get qualifying matches to be in a 6-man, a six-way, something or other something. It'd be different if we had a tournament, right?
This isn't like what we had to do when Regal came out that time and was like, we're gonna have a gauntlet eliminator match to have a eliminator title match 6-man thing going on.
Yeah, this is just 2 steps. You win your match, you're into the 6-man at what is this thing called?
I have no clue. I don't
Hold
know.
on,
What this
it's in here.
is called.
It's in here somewhere. It's in here somewhere in my notes. I'm scrolling through here. Let me see if I can find
Under
it.
Siege.
Under Siege. Yes, May 15th. Under Siege.
Under Siege.
Colin, are we just gonna have a pay-per-view every 2 weeks?
It's what it seems like.
We've been doing this. We've been doing Impact Attack now for about a month.
And we've had 6 pay-per-views.
Okay, yeah, but we've had 2 though for a shoot.
It felt like 6. I'm sorry, PTSD.
Yeah, it felt like 6 because they're all the same. Yeah, we had 4 episodes and 2 pay-per-views, and it all feels the same, right? So seriously, like they're not even giving you any time to. I mean, Impact Plus costs the same whether you put on pay-per-views or not. So you might want to give people a little less value for their money, guys. Anyway, yeah, so Scott wants Kenny at the building because for some reason there was stipulated in his contract that he had to be on Impact, otherwise he was going to get stripped of the title and suspended from both companies. So, like, first of all, why would you agree to that if you were going to sign a contract for this match that you had to be on Impact? And second of all, if you did, why would you not know that and not just be there?
Well, and third, why would you not have transportation and all of this stuff written in the contract to and from hotel? I don't get why later on Don Callis is trying to find rides for people. I don't get this.
And fourth, why is Scott D'Amore saying Moxie when this is 2020 and not 1920?
Oh, I thought he was saying Moxley.
No, he
Moxley.
really wasn't. No, he didn't. No, he wasn't.
No, he wasn't. No.
No. That would have made more sense, even though it makes no sense.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's have some qualifiers. Let's just do it. Let's have it. Let's have some qualifiers and hope Kenny Omega shows up.
So we're gonna have a qualifier as D'Amore calls Jake something in the ring, really puts him over, but then the music hits of a returning Impact superstar that you have yet to see, my friend. It is the returning Chris Bay, former X Division champion. And Chris Bay goes over.
Wait a minute. This is. I don't remember seeing Chris Bay. I thought Jackson Riker had a match with Kofi Kingston. That's not what this was.
No, that was not. That was on Monday Night Raw. That was a 6-man on Monday Night Raw.
Are you sure it didn't happen here?
No, it didn't happen here.
Can you prove that it didn't happen here? That wasn't Kofi Kingston.
No, that was Chris Bay.
Well, that wasn't my recollection, but I'll take your word for it. What does Mike Kellum have to say about this?
Mike Kellum, it's like almost like a lumberjack match here, with everybody kind of still watching from outside. Then we got Rohit Raju trying to cost something to win. So maybe we're gonna get some heat here with Rohit and something. Maybe Mahabali Shira and something, because Rohit and Mahabali Shira are back together. So they can roll off with this with another feud. But Chris Bay getting that qualifier in that 6-man. Would you like to see, from what you saw of Chris Bay in this match, how would you match up Chris Bay with Kenny Omega?
So they're probably going to do a lot of fun stuff. Let's say. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of Chris Bay to really have an opinion yet, other than he's Kofi Kingston. Because he's doing the exact hairstyle of Kofi Kingston, he could at least stay away from that if he wants. But But I would say what I've seen of him before, like he's decent. So now he's a number one contender. Well, let's see. Let's see if he can compose himself as a main eventer the way that Rich Swan can. Let's see.
Wants to
Let's
know
see
if
if he
you
can
want
do
some
that.
hot dog.
If he, yeah, what? Huh?
We all could use a hamburger every now and again.
Damn right. So what's next, Colin? What's next?
We had Don Callis, the first of many vignettes with Don Callis, pacing back and forth backstage, nervous for his I guess mentee. Is this like a mentor mentee relationship that Don Callis and Kenny Omega have going on here?
I feel as though the way Don talks about him, that Don is the mentee. I mean, he really goes out of his way to put him over in a ridiculous manner. So I'm wondering who's learning from who here. But yeah, and then Sami's going to come up and threaten Kenny through Don.
Through Don, yes.
So
we had a lot of that, and then later on in the evening, I think we'll kind of knock out some of these Callis vignettes here. Like I said earlier, he was trying to find Kenny's a ride, and Johnny Swinger shows up, and he's trying to get Johnny Swing, like he's trying to get like Johnny Swinger to get some like weirdo guy, and then he calls Don Callis calls Kenny later, and he's like, yeah, some guy's gonna come pick you up. It's probably gonna be an idiot or a moron.
right, which is funny because the way they do these vignettes, the sequencing, it's like him telling Kenny first on the, it's like just take the jet,
Yeah,
it's already
PK's
it's already the jet. We've got the private jet, but we can't arrange ride services like the same way we have a private jet. We have to trust Johnny Swinger, not even Johnny Swinger necessarily, but a cohort that Johnny Swinger is going to hire to pick him up.
GGP's probably going to show up.
I kind of feel like, yeah, you want to insure it a little bit more than that, but let's talk about another backstage interview thing that I really like. I always like when you can start out with a good polite introduction, like you don't want to bother somebody. Excuse me, Taylor Wilde, and say their full name too. Excuse me, Taylor Wilde. Excuse me, Miss Taylor Wilde, the knockout.
Miss Taylor Wilde, who's returning after 16 years of not wrestling. Miss Taylor Wilde.
Yeah, she's back, everybody.
And she looked really good tonight. I know that's jumping the gun, but I thought she looked pretty decent for somebody having not gone in that long of a time. And we're getting all these returns in the WWE from all these old school divas coming back. Let's give a shout out to Taylor Wilde, who looked really good last night's episode.
Let's do it. So moving on,
we had I gotta cue up my Smiths music. I really gotta find a drop for when we get Morrissey on the show, who
don't do it
in a total complete squash beat up Sam Beal. So is Sam Beal our Austin Gray?
Sam Beal is so they put the tag team belts on Juice Robinson here in this company, but just in case something doesn't go well, they sign Sam Beal. They want to have a Juice Robinson of their own, right?
Yes, sir.
So that's clearly what they're going for here. So Morrissey's going to do a promo before the match, and he does the promo, and the promo ends with the bell ringing to start the match, like right on his go home line, which is like, well, again, I always have to ask, well, if this is real, what if he wasn't done talking? Are you wrapping him up? Are you wrapping him up?
Wrap it up, B.
Right. Yeah, he's gonna wrap that gavel up here on Sam Beal in short order. So
now, I have seen it the opposite way, though. I don't know if I've told you this before, but I watched an NXT show where Velveteen Dream and Johnny Gargano were. It was a house show, and they were doing a spot before the match, and then they jumped right into wrestling, and Drake Wirtz was the ref, and the crowd was like, ring the bell, because Drake Wirtz didn't ring the bell to start the match. They just started wrestling, and he's like, no, I rang the bell, like trying to play it off like, no, I rang the bell, guys. Like, let's keep focusing, but the crowd was not going to let him have it. Johnny Gargano had to crawl out of the ring, grab the bell, and ring it to start the match so that we would just shut up about Drake Wirtz not ringing the bell to start their match. Well,
that's what house shows are for. Things like that. So yeah. So anyways, moving on.
We
I
got,
nothing to say here.
nothing here. We've got Deanna Perrazzo. Here's your chance to talk about Kimberly. Told Kimberly and Susan that she was taking the night off, which leaves Kimberly to go down there and fight Taylor Wilde. So we're getting Taylor Wilde's first match back is going to be against Kimberly.
Okay. Well, before let's go right into that match, and
Yep.
but before we do, just want to say that before the match started, we got a Willie Mack promo, and this is my
We did
first
after
time.
that as well.
It was my first time hearing Willie this month, so that was that's nice. It's taken a month, but I finally got a promo from Willie, and no one interrupted it, so that was nice too. All right, now back to the match.
Gotcha.
So something I call the Trevor Murdoch principle, which is when I first saw Trevor Murdoch, I was like, ugh. Well, he's got to be one hell of a worker, right? Then I was like, well, certainly he's got to be a great promo, right? No.
You'd be nice.
You have to be something. You have to be a hell of a promo, have a hell of a body, or be attractive in some way, or be a hell of a worker, right? That's the Trevor Murdoch principle. Whereas if you're not any of those things, I'm not sure why you're here. I mean, I know why he was here. He knew somebody. But Kimberly is none of these things. She looks like a mom that dropped her daughter off at soccer practice and then went home to her daughter's room and put on her princess dress-up clothes. That's what Kimberly looks like. And then Taylor looks like her Nutrisystem after picture. So I just have to say that this was awful.
They do look. It is like the complete opposites. They look alike. They're both blonde. It's like one if she really took care of herself, and the other one if she just let herself go.
This was awful.
That's
this whole
funny.
thing was awful. The match was bad. Taylor Wilde's entrance music is bad, or at least the lyric part of it. They've got to
And they
get rid
kept
of that.
playing it. They messed up. They played it so long that it reset. Like right as the match was starting, her music was still playing when the match started.
Yeah. So media says that Kimber's just there through her friends who came from Shimmer, which of course doesn't that not go back to what I just said about Trevor Murdoch? You know somebody, you get in. That's a lot of wrestling. That's a lot of life. Even in regular jobs, there's a lot of places don't really want to hire you. You kind of need somebody that works there to put in a word for you. That's just the way things are. So like, I get it. And I'm not trying to disparage, Kimberly wanting to be in the wrestling business. She has every right to try to be in it. And if they're going to let her be in it, then my comments are more directed at, the management, the Impact people. It's not Kimber. My message to Kimber is you do whatever you got to do. You make that money, you make that living, you follow the path of life that you want to walk. You do that. And then on the same time, my message to a completely different set of people is, what are you doing letting Kimberly on television? She doesn't belong on television in any fashion. Not at all. The gear is rotten. The work is rotten. Her promos aren't good enough to deserve her being on TV. And it's bad. So, yeah. So, I mean, yeah. So here media says she got a paycheck, got way too comfortable, let herself go, same as Deanna, which that's the case. But Deanna is good at something. She first of all, she is pretty. Second of all, she can wrestle. So there's that. She's not good at promos, but she's got two of the other things. So even though she could stand to lose a few pounds, she's also wearing gear that covers a lot of it up, right? So that there is that, as opposed to like, some of the other people. There is that, but I don't have any excuses for Kimber. I can't point out any good things. I'm sorry. And this went through a break too, as bad as it was. So like, so it wasn't long enough. It wasn't, we had to take a break. So yeah, that's
Well,
it.
we had Taylor Wilde going over with a code breaker and then hitting the Indian Deathlock, and then Tennille comes out to offer a tag, like to to offer be a tag team. She turns that down. Then we've got an X Division Championship match with Josh Alexander defeating Ace Austin. I really like Ace Austin's entrance. I like the little staff that he has, the little spring staff. It's very flashy. And then his match with Alexander. Like I said, I think you're going to get a solid match out of Alexander every time he comes out. It's a simple style. It seems like to work. He's
Canadian.
He's Canadian. He's going to come out there and wrestle you like Lance Storm.
Canadians have just a baseline level of goodness. I don't know why.
GSP, Lance Storm, Bret Hart, Owen Hart, Natty Hart.
If you're good at wrestling and you're from the North American continent, you're probably from Canada or somewhere in Texas. That's it.
Chris Jericho, Kenny Omega.
Yeah, we kind of skipped over a Rebellion 2019 flashback, which is fine. But but what's not fine is skipping over Moose making an appearance and making his case for why he shouldn't have to be in a qualifier. Anyway, he's interrupted by a cowboy. He gives him some sack lunches. Great. Now back to the other match. Did Ace Austin blatantly use an object in front of the ref to give? He gave Alexander like a paper cut with one of his cards.
Yeah, I missed that.
Okay, it looked like maybe anybody else that's in the chat was watching could tell me if I'm right, but it looked like the referee was just staring right at him as he took the hand, took like his card and just gave him the paper cut thing, like in between the fingers. Which
that should be a disqualification. That's a foreign object.
Technically, it should. And
yeah.
Other than that, I mean, yeah, fine. It's a match. It's cool. It seems like is this the story? We're gonna get one good match if Josh Alexander has to wrestle, and the rest is we're just sitting here killing time. That could be the kind of the story. I'm not huge on Ace Austin. He's just like another one of those guys that does a lot of posy moves. Just very set and pose.
Parkour-esque, where it's like it's very parkour-esque.
Uh-oh. Look who just showed up, Colin.
Uh-oh, who's here? Oh my gosh.
So there's your answer to the earlier.
Which glory hole were you working, Big Ray? That's what we want to know. We told everybody you were down at Coney Island tonight, but which specific one? I think that's what the vet wanted to know.
I think Homeboy 88 is going to be happy that.
Yeah, Homeboy 88 was looking for you.
Yeah. Well, shit. If we, if he's not that specific. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Well, I didn't take it for me, Ray. I knew it was for Colin. It's like we know that.
Always for me.
Ray and I are friends anyway. We've never, we've only had the one interaction. We're still friends. With you and Ray have a history of whatever you guys have.
We're best buds.
I just stay out of it. I'm just the third party.
Oh, he said he was working the one by your ex-boyfriend's house. You have an ex-boyfriend in Coney Island, Vet?
I think again he was referring to you. That was you. It wasn't me.
Are you sure?
I'm not. I'm sure that I don't have an ex-boyfriend in Coney Island. Yes.
Okay. So I don't know who he was talking about because I don't have an ex-boyfriend in Coney
I'm
Island.
I'm a West Coast guy.
Yeah, he lives.
No offense. No offense to the East Coast. That's just where I'm located. That's all. Yeah. So.
Do we get to talk about this Tasha Steelz, Jordan Grace backstage promo yet?
We didn't. I think we were about to. And so this is an interview that was interrupted. And it had music under the entire thing. Do you like that? Do you like the Impact theme of whatever this We Own the Night or whatever this song is called? That's what we need to get a drop for that. Cause I'm sure it's royalty free, but yeah, it's like, do you like the idea of having a backstage interview with the show's main theme song playing under it the entire time softly?
No, I do not. I do not prefer that at all.
Wow, really? It's shocking.
No.
I believe anybody wouldn't love that.
I prefer ladies shooting on each other and calling Jordan Grace Buzz Lightyear. Buzz Lightyear finally found her Woody, and then she called her Cardi B and Cardi C. I mean, these girls were really kind of going at it with each other, and it's nice to see some cattiness.
Well, Rachel was good here anyway. I don't know about the rest of them.
Oh, they're gonna snatch her edges up under that bandana she's got on, under her headband.
Yeah. So Ray, if you never got to join us live before, most of what the show is Colin looking for things on the internet to annoy me while I carry the body of the show with reviews and technical insights and
That is
all
true.
this other stuff. Jordan Grace looks like a tall, fat baby. Yes, that's 100%. Well, I didn't say it. I just read it. She kind of remind me of Jeff Lane too. You know what I mean? Like, you see that?
Oh, yeah, I can see the Jeff Lane. She's Jim Cornette's like weirdo child. Like, she looks like Jim Cornette's kid. But if you don't have anything else on that, we can move on to a rematch of Matt Cardona versus Brian Myers. But this is no ordinary rematch. This is again for the number one contenders qualifier for that 6-man that we were talking about here. And Brian Myers goes over at the pay-per-view. Matt Cardona goes over here, ladies and gentlemen. Do we really see Matt Cardona? I'm telling you, it's Moose. It's gonna be Moose.
It's the obvious choice.
I am not looking at hot Brazilian boy porn. They're Colombian.
I almost think even though they're telegraphing it, they telegraphed it before that Kenny Omega would just win. So they're not against telegraphing, but I think the more intriguing option is for them is Callahan. Yeah, I don't have anything to say about this match. Like I said, fuck these guys. I don't care about them anymore. They were involved in that shit at Rebellion, so I'm not gonna really put them over anymore. If they want to do their violent wrestling figure podcast in the ring, that's up to them, but I'm not gonna put it over. So,
well, it was announced that Rohit Raju versus Trey Miguel, Rhino versus Chris Sabin, and Moose versus James Storm will be qualifiers on next week's Impact, and we're back in the ring for yet another number one contenders qualifier. It is Eddie Edwards versus Sami Callahan. Now,
hold on. Let's pause real quick. I want to address a couple things. Number one, Violent by Design had another vignette,
yes, they did.
But Morrissey was not invited.
He was not.
So
invited.
was he a one-time deal, or is he in the group?
I think he's a one-time deal.
Well, why wouldn't they want him?
Unless
he seems pretty violent.
Unless because of all this stuff has already been shot and everything like that these promos were already shot and before Morrissey came in. Do you think? No?
I don't care. I don't care. Shoot another one.
That is,
you know what I mean? You obviously shot one when you had. I mean, like, how long would it have taken to shoot an extra vignette? Or if you had that one ready to go in the can, which I doubt, but even if they did, just throw that one out and do a new one real quick. Do a shorter one. And make your clip from Rebellion 2019 longer. if you need to fill time, you know what I mean. There's ways
find a longer match. Yes.
Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
Go back to the RVD and Sabu some more. Like, show the whole match. You only showed 3/4 of the match last time. Show the whole one. The most. Oh, go ahead, Colin.
No, I was gonna say with the Eddie Edwards and Sami Callahan thing, it is getting to a point because I'd listened to the shows with Ben and Ray and Schaffer and all that, and it's getting to the point with Sami Callahan and Eddie Edwards to the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens point of this. It's like, I'm tired of seeing these guys in the ring together. Can we just can we get another brand of Impact Wrestling and send one of them to the other brand so that we don't have to see Eddie Edwards and Sami Callahan wrestle each other? Like, we do have another brand of Impact Wrestling. It's called AEW. Send them to AEW for a little while.
Let's do that. Or we could just bring TNA back and they could have the blue so we can have the red and the blue. All right. Well, who cares about all that, right? Let's care about this. We got a sizzle reel for
oh my goodness.
El Phantasmo.
You will not guess. You will not guess what is going on right now here, Vet.
What?
Sir, you were live on air.
What's wrong with you? What did you say?
What's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, Big Ray. Ladies and gentlemen, on the
Big
Impact
Ray
Attack.
in the building, sort of.
Yeah,
That was-
kind of. I can't hear you guys. Colin, stop. Put my volume up or whatever you do on that end.
It's up. It's up. Why can't you hear anybody?
Okay, I can hear you now. I was just asking you, stop sending. We're not live, are we?
Yes, we are. We are live on YouTube.
You know we're live. You've been watching.
Oh.
You were in the chat.
I wasn't watching anything. That wasn't me.
You are literally part of the show.
That was the Fiend.
That's the Fiend. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. What's up, guys? How are you guys doing? What's going on,
we're-
Vet? I like you. Colin sucks. What happened?
We were talking about the main event of Impact Wrestling from this past Thursday, where
No,
Eddie
no.
Edwards and
We
Sami
weren't talking about that
Callahan
yet.
were in the ring, and it ended in a no contest because the Good Brothers and Kenny Omega interrupted the match, beat everybody up. Even Finjuice, who came out to try to make the save, they beat up Finjuice too. And we ended the night with Kenny Omega standing tall. How do you feel about that, Big Ray? You've watched Impact for so long. To watch AEW and Kenny Omega just come in here and just take a dump all over the product.
Well, I mean, honestly, I don't think it does anything good for Impact. Nothing AEW has done over the last few months has done anything good for Impact at all. It actually makes Impact look straight up like a minor league. So Kenny Omega winning that title, to me as a fan, doesn't mean anything. I mean, look who. Nothing against Rich Swan. Rich Swan is fucking awesome. But I said this before, and I'll say it 1,000 times. That dude should have been the face of your X division. Moose is the guy. Tell me if I'm wrong, Dad. Moose is the guy that needs to be the face of that company.
I love Moose. I've always loved Moose. He's one of the only things I was looking forward to when I started covering Impact, and I barely seen him.
Yeah, they've really
Shame, man.
not used him enough.
It's a fucking shame. And they still have Sami Callahan fighting Gimmick Jones every fucking week, right? Am I wrong?
Eddie Edwards, we just said it's like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens.
Every week. And no matter how good Sami Callahan is, no matter how good Eddie Edwards is, they're both like two of my favorite guys. I love them to death. But, when you see, it's just like the old adage, you eat pizza every single day, you're going to get sick of pizza. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
That is true.
Yeah, so what I like about this main event is the old let's start the match and take a break. Right? Do we know how to edit? Do we know how to edit TV? Or I just like, you can do anything you want. It's your show. Why would you do that? I just really don't. I don't know. And then we're talking about the finish, right? So Omega runs in, and did you see how shitty it was when he was choking Sami Callahan? He's like gently stepping on his chest, which is supposed to be his throat, and he's just pulling the ropes up with his hands and make it look like, he's choking him. It was just, this sucked. The whole
He
thing
Good Brothered
sucked.
the segment. I feel like he like what we saw with the Good Brothers with Finjuice in the pay-per-view. I feel like they're just kind of coming in here and half-assing this shit.
Which they came out too, and they had their little fight. Good Brothers and Finjuice had their little fight off to the side, and then just, they get dispatched, and it's just, I don't know. We're waiting the entire show to see if Kenny Omega shows up, and this is what we get. I don't know if anything could have really realistically delivered on expectations for that, but this certainly wasn't it.
So I'm assuming, if I could jump in real quick, I'm assuming that Impact is not over with you yet.
Impact will never be over with me, Ray. Never. They're too far
Why?
gone because it's the bushest of bush leagues. For all the reasons that I've said, and even for the things that you're pointing out, like when you're talking about the way they come off in their crossover with AEW. They come off
And
at small time.
You guys haven't spoken, obviously, because I jumped in late. I'm at work, but you guys haven't spoken about what happened at the end of the show or what the rumor is, right?
No, what is that? You're dropping some breaking news. I need a breaking news thing here.
Not breaking. Yeah, you need the breaking news gimmick. Not breaking news, but like basically, there's a possibility that fucking Kenny Omega this might be it. He might just not, defend that title. Like, why win it? Like, it really makes the title look shitty.
He's just gonna let it go.
That's what I'm hearing. I'm hearing that. I'm hearing that this is it. Like they're gonna keep the forbidden back door or whatever the fuck this guy has open, and they're going to keep, throwing talent back and forth. But I don't know if Kenny Omega is ever going to be on Impact Wrestling TV again. I think they're going to start moving in on working with New Japan, with a lot of New Japan talent. So I just don't know why the hell Impact, it did nothing for them. The numbers didn't go up. Nobody maybe one or two segments in like 4 months that, there was a spike in viewership. So it did nothing for them. And you're right, Vet. I'm sorry. Like, I've been a fan of TNA since fucking when I say day one, I'm talking about day one, the first pay-per-view I bought.
Not $9.99 a week?
Yep. Exactly. Where they had the fucking cardboard TNA red and yellow cutout gimmick on the fucking ramp and everything, and the shit that you're supposed to tinsel coming down behind it. Terrible.
And Ken Shamrock?
Everything.
Ken Shamrock?
Yes. When he defeated, if I'm correct, who did he beat for the NWA World Heavyweight title? Was it Jeff Jarrett?
Probably. How could it not be?
Or was it? No. I think it was either him or was R-Truth, what was he called back then? Killer
Ron Killings, yeah, just
Ron Killings, right?
Killer Ron.
Killer Ron,
right? And I remember ordering one of those shows and a fucking midget pull out a gun. Like, that was awesome. Now it's a shell of what it was, man. And I genuinely do feel that eventually Impact Wrestling is going to be a subsidiary of AEW. It's going to be a fucking second brand. It's going to be like their minor league show, like their NXT. That's what it's going to be. And it's that way for this company, who I really genuinely love, to go out, bro. Shut up.
I think he's just running through all of his Roadcaster drops right now. They don't make sense or anything. That's what we do here. So that's the thing. It's like, does Anthem want to just offload Impact? Like, hey man, this will be a weight off of our books. Like, let's just sell it to Tony Khan. He's into buying stuff. Like, he's into overspending. Let's get him to buy Impact. Why not? I mean, might as well.
Might as well. Yeah, you're right. If they can con the money mark into doing it,
does AEW have? They don't have their network yet, right?
No, but that's the thing. That Anthem probably won't get rid of it because it's cheap, it's free. Like, that's why Ring of Honor. That's why Sinclair has Ring of Honor, because it's cheap, easy content to put on air, and you can just run wrestling all the time, and it just gets viewership. Now, granted, it's Impact Wrestling. I don't know.
Yeah, unless it's Impact, right?
I don't know the type of viewership Ring of Honor is getting on TV, but I see Ring of Honor running all the time late at night on local television and stuff like that here. So I don't.
Can I ask you guys a question? Because I really do have to run. I have to finish up here and head home, because I have to actually, if I can. What, Colin?
I just did the finish up in the blowjob motion while you were.
Oh, wonderful, classy.
Ask
real
away.
Fucking classy, Colin. Anyway, so and by the way, I'm heading home to edit this week's episode of I Love VD over at patreon.com.
Whoa. No plugs over here.
What? No? Okay, sorry. Well,
I will turn your microphone down.
All right, whatever. All right, so here's my question. I'm going to ask you guys this, and I'm going to be like those callers, first time, long time. So I have a question for you guys. So out of all of TNA's roster, can you each give me 3 talents? They could be 2 males and 1 female. 3 talents that you would steal from TNA or Impact Wrestling and bring them over to AEW as that company Impact Wrestling dissolves. Thank you so much, gentlemen. I'll listen back.
Colin, you first.
All right. Well, 3 talents that could go to AEW. I like. Oh, he did hang up. That's really cool. He is like one of those callers. I think Josh Alexander. I think he would have fun. I don't think you pair him up with Ethan Page, but he could have fun over there. Let's see. I think Chris Bay. I've watched a few Chris Bay matches. I think he would have a lot of fun over there. You could put him with a lot of those people. He's high flying. They do a lot of sports entertainment over there in AEW, and I think Chris Bay and I think Moose. I think you would have to send Moose over there, because I think Moose, like they said in the promo tonight, he's a 5-star athlete. He's got the look. He's gonna get better. He can only get better, especially if he applies all the same mindset and things that got him to to the NFL and got him to that, because normal athletes just don't make it to the NFL. Like I was telling my friend Ricky, who fights in the UFC, he played football at Western Carolina and was like, Colin, I see dudes that are better than me that aren't going to make it in the NFL kind of thing. So like Moose has that it quality, and I think he should be one of the ones that goes over to AEW if they were to combine forces.
Okay.
What about you?
Well, I'm not going to look at it in terms of if I'm AEW, who do I want to steal? Because AEW has too many people already that they're not using.
Yeah.
Way too many people. I'm going to look at it as if I was starting a company, who would I take from Impact? And the answer is Moose, and Moose. And Impact can have everybody else. I don't give a fuck about anybody else on that show. Even if they're good, I don't need them. I'll start with Moose, and then I'll get my talent from other places. I'll go to other companies and steal their better talent to be in Moose. And even it's like for a company that's like where it's so the thin on talent as Moose, or I mean as Impact, and having Moose there, like they've barely pushed him as the guy at all. You know what I mean? Like he's having to compete with guys at the top, but he's not, like they've never once said this is Moose, because he's there when guys like Lashley were still there. It's, you know, stuff like that. So like but now like he'd be the clear cut guy, and they still, like, again, no offense to Rich Swann, but they went with Rich Swann, which is surprising to me. In a sense, like when you got a Moose there. So maybe there's some other reasons for that, but it regardless, that's the guy that when he's on the screen, that's what I want to watch. Anybody else, I could be on my phone doing something else and I won't miss anything. But I want to say this because I was right in the middle of putting it over when we had Colin interrupt the show to have Big Ray on, which was a pleasure, by the way, but still very rude. We got a sizzle reel for somebody that's going to be supposedly appearing next week, and we're calling in El Phantasmo. Mm-hmm. Are you familiar with El Phantasmo? That's
Escobar's dad, right?
No, he's another Canadian guy, actually.
Another Canadian guy? Oh.
I think he used to wrestle with a mask. That's why he has that name. That name where you hear El Phantasmo and you think of like, oh, you mean Santos Escobar? Like, no. This is just some white guy. but
I thought it was El Hijo de Fantasma and okay, I got it. Okay.
That's Phantasma.
Yeah. Okay.
He's El Phantasmo. That's
right.
That's the masculine and feminine pronoun.
That stuff with Spanish. Yeah, that's okay. What about is there Phantasminx?
No, we're not doing that.
There's no El Phantasminx out there.
No, we're just going with because we know this is just one specific guy. We're not trying to speak to a demographic of phantasms. We're just talking about this one El Phantasmo.
Okay.
Yes, Media Phantasma, and he was a huge El Phantasma or whatever was a huge star in Mexican wrestling, and his son, which we know as Santos Escobar now, and previously King Cuerno, but before, and he was in Impact also as Hijo del Fantasma, and he was good there too, and he still had his mask. So, yeah, but but El Phantasmo, the New Japan wrestler, who's in the Bullet Club, you're gonna see this guy is one of the best workers in the world. One of the best heels in the world. When we're talking about guys that are doing real good heel stuff, we're talking guys like Jay White and stuff. We're talking about on that level. He's a little more cartoony, but he's still a great heel and a great worker. And he does the flippy stuff, but as a great worker, he puts it in the right places and makes it make sense.
Yeah, that's true. It's not gonna exactly media.
Doesn't matter. What's going to garner ratings anyways?
It's going to make
Nothing.
the vet want to watch Impact. That's all
Not-
that matters.
It will just give me somebody besides Moose to watch. That's it. Look, for anybody that wants to talk about Impact, they have not been able to garner any ratings ever. They couldn't garner ratings when they had Hulk Hogan, Kurt Angle, Sting, all these people. They didn't get ratings then. We only think they got ratings because the ratings were higher then in number than they are now. But back then, those numbers didn't move. People were watching the same show. Okay. Yeah. Well, they don't know. Okay, so he's talking about AEW instead. Well, AEW doesn't know how to draw either. They've got plenty of talent.
They're under 1 million now.
Exactly.
They're not. They didn't even.
They're back
like 4 weeks or 3 weeks at 1 million, and now they're back at like 889.
And what does that? And what does that mean? That means people gave them a chance, and
That's
then
right,
dipped out.
Big Ray. That is right. Impact Attack is more entertaining than Impact right now. And you missed his answer, Ray. He said that he would want Moose, and only Moose if he was to build a company.
Yeah.
There you go.
But you have to remember, like, when we're talking about ratings, we're talking about measurable TV ratings. What we're talking about is we're talking about old people who haven't cut the cord. That's your audience for measurable TV ratings. We're talking about cable boxes, satellite. You're talking about if you're still doing Nielsen stuff and how you measure that kind of thing. Those are the numbers that you're talking about. Ain't nobody in their teens and 20s, which is the kind of people that AEW would appeal to, or even any of this modern wrestling would appeal to. They're watching clips on YouTube rather than a whole 2-hour show with ads. They're not watching it live. That's for damn sure. Even if they're using their parents' TV to watch it, they're DVRing it and fast forwarding those. There's no way they're sitting there watching live with commercials. If you're in your 20s, if you're a college student, you can't be affording a cable bill. You know, you have to watch your wrestling for free on the internet. So I guarantee you that AEW is getting a lot more people, but that million that they keep dipping under, that's like old people that still have cable, you know, that don't know that there's other ways to watch wrestling.
The remote, like the batteries died and they got stuck on that channel.
And the argument for the casuals, right? Like, yeah, exactly. Why do you think CBS's ratings are so high? Because after the news, old people just fall asleep in front of the TV, and
Or
then
they just die.
they think they're really watching that much CSI and NCIS and stuff. Like, it's how those shows aren't getting ratings because they're good. They're getting ratings because old people fall asleep in front of the TV with CBS on. So now you're looking at wrestling and you're trying to sit there talking about, we need to get the casual viewers back. Oh, the casual viewers from the 90s when there was no internet and everybody didn't have a smartphone in their pocket. You're talking about those?
They had to go watch live or catch it live or put the VCR in the tape dispenser.
Just go back throughout time. And you look at what the entertainment options are available to you and how popular they are, and there's a direct correlation. Like, think about this. Why is horse racing known as the sport of kings?
Because it's awesome and it's expensive, and kings were the only ones that could afford horses.
Right, and they didn't have Netflix. If Kings had Netflix back in the day, they would never left their castle to watch horses run in a circle, bro. And it's the same thing now. The people have entertainment competition, and we're trying to measure the viewers with like outdated methods, and so you can get a baseline of whether the popularity is trending up or down, but you're never gonna, like, there's no magic formula that you're ever going to get. It doesn't matter if the Attitude Era started now, it wouldn't get ratings as high as it was back then, simply because less people are watching cable and more people are doing other things, and no one has time for phony wrestling.
Columbus, do you want to go find another route to India to get these spices? Nah, I'm too busy watching Netflix. Nah, I'm good.
Hey, Marco Polo, do you want to go discover some stuff? No, I'm watching Marco Polo on Netflix.
Yeah, right. The Ozarks is getting really good. I can't, Mom.
So when we're talking about wrestling and ratings, there's no way to get it back. The best you can do is just, try to put on a decent product, and it costs just as much to put on a good show as a bad show. The things that make it good and bad aren't the things that cost money, right? So I just think, you know, all we can do is watch. We can't necessarily like we can give them pointers on. I can give the talent pointers on how to improve their individual matches, and we can point out little technical gaffes that they make during production and things that don't, you know. But those things they're not going to move the needle one way or the other. At the end of the day, it's just the Impact is just a cockroach of a brand. It just won't die. And it's still here, and if we got to cover it, we'll cover it, and we'll talk about what we got to talk about. But I mean, there's no hope for Impact doing well or anybody turning a corner.
Yeah, that's true. I don't I don't see it. They're always kind of been at the basement, but that's because I think a broadcast company owns them. So, like I said, with the Ring of Honor thing, it's cheap content, and it's practically syndicated. You can put it anywhere, and people are probably going to watch it because it's live sports programming. Well, Impact's not really live, but the gist of it is that live sports programming is what most people want because they want to watch basketball, football. They want to watch the live as it happens, UFC type of stuff. So they hope that if people are flipping through the channels, it's like, oh, this is new and not some rerun. They'll catch it and they'll watch it.
Right here, look at what media is saying. They're on a time slot and channel people can't access. Who has Access TV? That's exactly my point.
Yeah, nobody.
Dude,
has it.
I have Xfinity, bro. That's like the biggest cable they own they own WWE at this point. They own NBC Universal. They own everything, and they don't carry access. So it's like if you can't get access on the biggest cable company in the world, then who else is getting access, and who's gonna watch it? You know what I mean? It's just bad.
Yeah, that too from Ray though. The COVID stuff did affect Impact with their tapings and getting
it's not
fans
even
in.
It's not even premium. He says it's not even premium.
Yeah,
I couldn't buy access. Not on my cable. They just don't carry it. Period.
But it is on Twitch. That's the thing though. I mean, now that you have to give it to Impact.
Again. Wait, real quick. Even before you say anything, old people ain't watching Twitch.
No, I get that. But that's where you didn't let me complete what I was trying to say here, is that Impact is trying to kind of be on the cutting edge and reach a younger audience by being live on Twitch, where, hey, I'm skimming through Twitch. Oh my God, I've never seen wrestling before. Or we also don't get to see the global numbers. That's one of the things that a lot of the people harp on with the WWE, like, oh, why are they putting over Bad Bunny? Why are they doing this? Is we don't see the global numbers. I mean, granted, I'm sure Impact isn't reaching a huge, ginormous audience, but I've heard India really eats up a lot of wrestling. They have Rohit Raju, they have Mahabali Shira. There are those chances where, you know, and yes, you've heard the stories of India. They wanted Triple H. They love Triple H. So they're tapped in to know who the superstars and the mega stars are too. So we don't know necessarily Impact's global numbers in that chance. We know the gripes and things of the North American audience trying to watch Impact and trying to deal with, like you said, trying to find an Access TV. But you got to give Impact credit for trying to be on the cutting edge and do stuff on Twitch.
No, I do. I mean, everybody should be like pushing all the platforms that they can. But even on Twitch, let's just look at Twitch. Twitch Impact channel runs 24 hours a day. So when their live show isn't on, they're showing old stuff. That's confusing. I don't know when they actually show the live Impact. I don't know what time it airs. And I wouldn't be able to watch it even if I did, because that's not in my schedule. And if I'm watching if I happen upon the Impact Twitch channel and I'm seeing old stuff with way better wrestlers and people in the crowds and stuff, why am I going to want to watch today's Impact when I'm comparing it directly after something I just saw from the past that was better? It's only on a steady downgrade. So if you catch Impact somehow on Twitch and you're watching RVD versus Sabu from 2011, right? And then you're like, where are these guys? What is this? What is this empty warehouse bullshit? You know, what is with this Sami Callahan and Eddie Edwards for the 20th time already?
And so like I have the A Show, cheap plug here. I have the A Show set up to like show other shows when we're not on air with the A Show or whatnot. And Impact was one of those channels that I picked. And it seems like there's constantly like some kind of Impact Wrestling, like you said, constantly on. Like when I sent somebody to the A show, they're like, yeah, I went to your page and it's nothing but Impact Wrestling. I'm like, oh yeah, that's just kind of how I have the channel set up. But Ray, the whole thing about Twitch just being a gaming channel, that's like when Bitcoin and stuff came out, where it was just for buying shit on Silk Road and using it on porn websites. That was the initial way to get it out there. Now Twitch is so much more. It's people playing other than games. You see sports on there. You see live chats. You see talks. You see music. I know people that
you could see
DJ
a girl.
sets.
You can see a girl eat a giant bowl of soup.
Yep. I mean, you can just watch. It is so much more like it's like the new YouTube, but for live streaming and everything like that. I know a guy who does no plugs, but it is our show, so I will plug my stuff. Thank you very much, there, sir. But it's a whole different thing now. It's not just for gaming. It's morphed into something that's bigger than that, and Impact's just trying to take advantage of it.
Yeah, everyone should be on every platform. Like you should be running Facebook, you should be running YouTube, you should be running all that. And I think they do, and I think they get a little something from all of that. But no one is measuring those metrics. They're only talking about no one. They never will. They'll never talk. It's like, oh, this guy. Only the WWE talks about how many Facebook friends they have and shit like that. You know what I mean? And no one. And that
45 million subscribers. More than the NBA, MLB, and NFL combined.
And that just makes everybody roll their eyes, right? It's just that's why. Yeah, the WWE streamed on Facebook too with the Mixed Match Challenge. I'm sure everybody watched that, right?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, right.
Everybody in the chat and all of us watched it. I mean, I watched it, but I can't say the same for that. That's where Asuka and The Miz really got over. Mm-hmm. But in any case, yeah, everybody should be doing everything, and even if they do, we're not going to talk about it. We're just going to assume they're not.
Well, Vet, you do everything on social media, so why don't you tell everyone where they can find you on social media?
That's Colin's sweet segue of telling me to wrap it up, so we're going to go ahead and do that now. You can find me on Twitch at Opinion Haver. You can find me at Facebook at Opinion Haver. You can find me on YouTube at Opinion Haver, where I will put this in one of my playlists called Vetcast. So if you even just want to go to my channel and watch all the shows that I do with Colin, you can go at Opinion Haver. Opinion Haver everywhere. Twitter, Instagram. What else I got? I made a TikTok and then deleted it. Just to have the name. PlayStation Network. PlayStation Network, Opinion Haver. You want to play some games? Let's play some games. Guess what, Colin? Hot news. Retromania Wrestling available on PS4 now.
Ooh, I've got to go buy it so we can start playing it and reviewing it, and maybe we can have Stevie Richards come on the show. Yay!
We're gonna have a Twitch stream where we play Retromania Wrestling because we know how to market, right? So yes. Come and check us out there at Opinion. That's right there. It's under my face.
He's gonna throw it up. I'm on there as Wrestler Redneck, but it's weird. It's spelled weird and done all weird, and I don't necessarily remember it. But you can type in Wrestling Redneck; it might pop up.
All right, media. So just add me and just let me know it's you from the chat, and I'll go ahead and add you. But that's basically it for me. And you can also find me lurking around some of these chats on the Hameen Media Group, trying to give Ben Hameen a hard time and having him misunderstand what I say because a YouTube comment can only convey so much. But one of these days we're gonna have the real face-to-face online, and then that's when the sparks will fly, and that will draw. Forget Sami Callahan. That's the real draw. That's the one. But we got to build it. We can't just do it. We're going to make people anticipate it. So that's going to be what's
well, we all know when that match is going to take place.
9 days from tonight.
And ladies and gentlemen, you can find me on all social media at Colin Wysong. It's really only on Twitter and Facebook. And you can find me at the A Show on patreon.com/the A Show. And guys, I got to make sure that I don't botch the spot with this because I got scolded in the text messages. So when I get done putting over all my A Show stuff, I have to put over, ladies and gentlemen, that you need to go listen to the Impact Attack each and every week with Colin Wysong and The Vet. I'm going to retroactively edit this back into the Wednesday locker room so that we can plug the Impact Attack properly, which I forgot to do because I was too busy plugging Damian Sandow and April Hunter on the A Show. That is patreon.com/the A Show. Also,
nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that.
youtube.com/the A Show. We go live this Tuesday, and actually we're going to have a dream expert. She translates your dreams. So if you have some really cool dreams and you want to get those read on the show and have her tell you what the fuck is wrong with you, then listen to the A Show this Tuesday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with April Hunter, Aaron Stevens, and myself as I produce the show. Big Ray keeps saying Patreon for some reason in the chat. I don't know why, but go to patreon.com/Hameen Media Group if you want to check out this episode of the Impact Attack, as well as the episode of the Wednesday Locker Room that I was on with the Andrew Bello, who is my kayfabe best friend. I did some shout outs. Some of you might have actually gotten into the shout outs and got some stuff read on the air. Big Ray was there. He got in the shout outs, and we had a run in from Billy Ray Valentine right after Billy Ray Valentine was on the A Show with April Hunter and Aaron Stevens. What a great time we had, guys. Vet, do you have anything else?
No, just to let media know that the Angry Wrestling Vet is not me, and I think he was after me.
And Good Opinion Haver is also not the Vet. If you look that up on PS4, there's Opinion Haver and Good Opinion Haver. It is solely just Opinion Haver.
That's right, and that's all I got. So we'll see you guys at least next week. Oh jeez. See? You're not gonna get a hammy doing this shit.
Wrong fader was up when that happened. But you know what, guys? We're gonna get out of here with some mountain goats.
Like a dog down on the cars, square in the spotlight, sweating real hard. Also in blood.
I have nothing to do with the music selections on this show.
Shaped like an asteroid.